Hello everyone. So today we are going to start part 3 of chapter microorganism for class 8 science. As you know that we have studied about microorganisms, their types, their characteristics in part 1 and part 2 video. Okay. So now in this video, which is part 3 of the chapter, we are going to study how these microorganisms are sometimes like a friend where these are useful for us, where these are benefiting us, and sometimes these are causing disease. They are behaving like a foe, which is enemy. So here we are going to study basically what are the different aspects like uses or what are the harms of any microorganism. So here, if we will talk about the benefits or uses, you can see that if you are preparing curd from milk. So what is this curd? This curd is the milk actually which is converted into another form, which is, you can say, it is more its characteristics are different. Okay, and this curd is like, it is different in nature, or you can see it is sour. It will be different in look also, and it will be different in composition also. Okay, so what is the microorganism which is turning this milk into curd? So these are actually beneficial for us. That is why we are able to eat curd also. Okay, because of those microorganisms. We will study about them in detail in coming slides. Now, preparation of bread or cake. For that also microorganisms are helpful. Then, for production of alcohol, wine, and acetic acid. For that also microorganisms are very helpful. So we can prepare these things, these alcohol or wine or acetic acid, because of microorganisms only. Okay, so we can say that microorganisms are beneficial for us. So we have already studied about production of alcohol in wine through yeast. If you were studying about yeast, you have studied that these can be produced because of these yeast. Okay, so yeast are helping in yeast are doing the fermentation, and this fermentation, because of this fermentation, what is happening, we are having alcohol and wine. Okay, so now in case of acetic acid, mostly whenever any fruit spoils or any food item which is spoiling, so these acetic acid are being produced. So these are produced by acetobacter. Okay, so these acetobacter. These are also the, you can say, like bacteria, microorganisms which are converting or which are fermenting these fruits, and then it is making acetic acid. So it is helping in formation of acetic acid. Okay, so this acetic acid is produced or excreted by acetic acid bacteria, or we can also say these are from a particular genus which is called acetobacter. Okay. Now coming to preparation of medicines and vaccines. So for vaccines and medicines also, we can take help of different types of microorganisms. Now how we are going to take help, or how we are using these microorganisms, we are going to study in detail. And then in cleaning up the environment, and then increasing the soil fertility. So we are going to take one by one all the points and all the topics. Now about harmful effect of microbes. So for harmful effect, you can see that these are causing some kind of diseases in plants, animals, and human beings. So different microorganisms, like you have studied bacteria, fungi, or algae, or protozoa. So these are all virus. These are causing some kind of diseases in some plants and in animals, and sometimes in human beings also. For example, nowadays corona is being spread because of a virus, and that virus name is COVID-19. So it is causing disease in human beings. Now, this can also cause spoiling of food. So, the food being spoiled, or it is creating food poisoning, that could also happen because of some of the microorganisms. Okay, so now here in this part of this chapter microorganism, we are going to study one by one. We are going to study about different types of, we are going to cover all these topics, and we are going to study about different effects, okay, which are harmful or which are bad or which are good also. So now we are starting with the useful bacteria or good bacteria. Now what is the meaning of good bacteria? Good bacteria which is helping us, okay, in many ways. So you know that in our body also we are having so many bacteria. You know, in our body we are always having some of the microorganisms, or in nature everywhere microorganisms are present. So there are some good bacteria, and we are telling them good bacteria. Flora is the term which is basically used for plants only. Okay, so here we are using this term flora. So in these good bacteria, I will tell you one by one, like Bifidobacteria, Escherichia coli, and Lactobacilli. These are the some strains which we are going to talk. Now, before that, how is curd formed? You know that there is a bacterium, we call it Lactobacillus. Okay, this Lactobacillus, it is a bacteria which is, you can say, responsible for converting milk into curd. So what happens? This lactobacillus bacteria multiplies inside the milk when it is mixed there, and then it starts curdling. Okay, and the milk turns into curd. So in this way, it is helping us. So these are the picture of lactobacillus bacteria you can see here, and what they are doing, they are actually producing some kind of vitamins and nutrients, and they are boosting immunity and protecting against carcinogens also. That is why these lactobacilli are very useful for us, and we it is generally preferred to eat curd if you are having any stomach related problem, because it is having good bacteria, okay, so which is producing vitamins or nutrients, and it is boosting our immunity also, okay. And what are carcinogen? Carcinogen means anything which is producing cancer. Okay, anything which is related to cancerous. You have heard about cancer, where the growth of cell becomes so uncontrolled that nobody gets able to control the growth of those cells. Okay, so that is called cancer. So carcinogens are basically the things or any chemical or anything which is causing cancer or which is helping in creating cancer. Okay, so we call them carcinogens. So your lactobacilli, these are also helping against carcinogens. That means they are trying to remove carcinogens or trying to destroy them, and they will not allow them to multiply or to create cancer in the body. Okay. Now, so bacteria are also helpful in preparation of some medicines. They are also helping in soil fertility by fixing nitrogen. You have studied in class 7 also about nitrogen fixation through bacteria. We are going to study that also here. Now it is used in setting curd and making cheese, pickles, and other food items also. So these are the good bacteria. Now there is bifidobacteria. These are the strains of bacteria where what happens? They are regulating levels of other bacteria in the gut. And you know there are so many bacteria in our body, in human body or in any animal body, which are unidentified, which we cannot even which we could not identify till yet. So uh, we know about only few bacteria or few microorganisms which we have observed or we were able to see outside the body. Okay, now, so what these bifidobacteria are doing, these are helping in regulating level of other bacteria in the gut. So they are modulating immune responses to invading pathogens. Pathogens, what are pathogens? Pathogens are any disease causing microorganism. Okay, any disease causing microorganism is called pathogen. Okay, so what happens here when this pathogen is invading means moving inside the body. When it is trying to move inside the body, so what happens, these bifidobacteria, they control them, they create immune response, they tell our immunity. Okay, you can say that they are helping in preparing a brigade or army against these pathogens. Okay, and they are also preventing in tumor formation, and they also produce different vitamins. So these bifidobacteria, these are very good for our body. Now there is one more, Escherichia coli. Okay, so these, in short, you can also see somewhere the name is written like E. coli. Okay, so these E. coli bacteria, these are present in human gut, and these are of different types. Okay, and they are also involved in production of vitamin K2, which is very much essential for blood clotting, and it helps to keep bad bacteria in check. Okay, but you should know that some strains of E. coli can also lead to illness. That is why it is told that whenever you are going to wash after excretion, you should wash your hands properly. Okay, or in the area where you know that in earlier time what used to happen, that people were not having proper washrooms or bathrooms, so they were excreting outside in the land area, and there was lack of hygiene. Because of lack of hygiene, what happened, because of lack of hygiene also, it happened that many times when they are you can say excreting any excreta outside, so what used to happen that because of that excreta, and they are having these E. coli in their excreta, so it could go into their, and if they are not eating, they are not washing their hands properly, and after that they are eating something, so those E. coli will go again in the gut. Okay, or it will go in food, in the other person, so it can create illness or it can create sickness. Okay, in the body of human being. So that is why it is called, whenever you are going to wash your hands should be properly cleaned. Okay. So these are the bacteria, out of which some are good and some are having some strains, are having some, uh, they can create some kind of disease in the body. Now we are moving to the next line. So here we are going to see how yeast is helpful or useful in any human, you can say for human body, or for the people who are here, like for everyone. Okay, so for humankind, you can say it is helpful. So before that, I want to tell you one story, that how this what is fermentation and how this fermentation started for the first time. So there was one scientist, Louis Pasteur. Okay, so Louis Pasteur in 1857, he discovered that some of the yeast strains, when he kept it in sugar solution, so it converted into alcohol. Okay, so there was like some kind of smell of alcohol was coming when he kept some strains of yeast al- in your sugar solution. So this is how he find out that fermentation is taking place and that yeast are very much helpful in this fermentation process. Now what was actually happening in this fermentation process? Here the sugar was being consumed by yeast cell. Suppose this picture, you can see here there is a picture. Suppose this is a yeast cell, and this yeast cell is consuming sugar, then it is fermenting the sugar, it is using the ATP. ATP is the energy currency, I have told you in last class also. So ATP is adenosine triphosphate, okay, and this is the adenosine triphosphate, and this is the energy currency, okay. So energy was produced here, and this sugar was converted into ethanol or alcohol. Alcohol here is basically the group of compound. You can say it is a group of compound. It is not a particular compound. It is a group of compound which was, so this group of compound which was having this property. What property? It will be having one oxygen and one hydrogen, okay, as a group in the compound. So suppose if all the compounds of alcohol we are talking about, so all the compounds will be having this oxygen and hydrogen group, okay. So it is kind of a functional group. You are going to study it in class 10, so I'm just giving you a glimpse of it. So this is called alcohol group. So this oxygen and hydrogen will be attached to any compound of alcohol. Now when we are saying ethanol, ethanol is a particular, you can say a particular alcohol which is having this formula C2H5 and OH, okay. So here two carbons are present, five hydrogen are present, and one OH group is present, okay. So that is ethanol. So particularly ethanol was being produced, but in different cases different kind of alcohol could be produced. So common name alcohol is given. Now, plus with this, what was also producing? Carbon dioxide gas. So now, as everybody was, now they were knowing that yeast is, because it is helping in fermentation. So, and it is very much, helping in baking industry. So it was being used in baking industry. Why? Because in bread or pastries or cakes, when they were making it with the help of yeast, what was happening? Fermentation was happening, and it was, and because you know that yeast is very small cell, so yeast was able to replicate very fast. So it was reproducing rapidly. It was producing carbon dioxide during their respiration process. So bubbles of carbon dioxide gas, when it was released, what happened? It produces, fill the spaces in the dough and it increases its volume. So you know that, like, if you have put some dough, okay, and you have put yeast in this dough, now you have kept it for baking. So what happened during baking? Carbon dioxide gas was being produced because of this yeast was doing what? Respiration. And during respiration, CO2 gas was being produced. So when this CO2 gas was being escaped in the environment, what was left behind? There was some holes, okay. And because of these holes, this bread was becoming very spongy in nature. So from then onwards, or now also, we know that we are using bread or pastries or cakes. When we are making, we can use yeast cell, okay, because of this property. Now it was also used in commercial production. Now commercial, what is the meaning of commercial? Whenever we are seeing commercial, it means we are talking about something which is profitable, profitable, or which is being used in making, which is profitable, or which is being used in making money, okay. So it is being used in making money, okay. Now, so here, for example, you have seen when you are watching some serial or when you are watching some news, there comes commercial ad, and it says that okay, this is commercial ad, and it is like for marketing of something, okay. So in long run, when this research happened that fermentation is can be done by using these cells, so commercial production of alcohol and wine also started, and it was done by growing yeast cell, okay. on natural sugars, which is present in fruit juices or grains, like rice or wheat or barley. So these were having natural sugars. Okay, these were having natural sugars, and when this yeast was eating them, or it was, you can say, feeding on these sugar, what it was producing, it was producing different type of alcohol. Clear? Now there is one reaction given, or one example is given, like the glucose which is present in any particular grain. It is then converted into pyruvate, and then pyruvate, with the help of aspergillus, it could be converted into lactic acid, which is soya sauce, or with the help of lactobacillus, it could be converted into lactic acid, which we can see in cheese or yogurt, which you could produce. And then there is, if Saccharomyces, so these are bacteria. Lactobacillus is a bacteria. So now we know that these aspergillus, these are a fungi or fungi. Okay, aspergillus are fungi, and lactobacillus were bacteria, and then Saccharomyces is the name for yeast. Okay, Saccharomyces is the name used for yeast. So it is used in making beer or wine or bread. Okay, here carbon dioxide is being released, here this ethanol is being produced, here also ethanol is being produced. Okay, so in this way this yeast was being used by many you can say industries for making profitable product. Okay, uh, the product which they can buy, which they can produce and then they can sell in the market. Now you are going to move to the next slide. Okay, so that was all about yeast. Now we are moving to the next slide, which is antibiotics. So how these antibiotics, so here we are going to study what are antibiotics. Okay, so antibiotics, as the name is suggesting, first of all we should understand this thing, that wherever this word anti comes, it means against. Okay, so something which we are talking about, that it is against something. Clear? Now in case of this antibiotics, what it is against? It is against bio. So bio word, whenever it is used, it is something. Okay, or say something. Clear? So chemicals, you can say, acting against living organisms. Okay, and these are being produced inside the body of some organisms. Okay, for example, some of the bacteria or some of the fungi. So it is being produced in bacteria and fungi. So what are antibiotics? These are actually the medicines that is having capacity to kill or stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms. Okay, and it could be, example, your penicillin, okay, which is obtained from Penicillium, okay, notatum. So now here you can see that there are some kind of, here you can see that there are some kind of uh, antibiotics which are used, for example, your streptomycin or erythromycin or tetracycline. So these are made from the bacteria and different fungi. And these are used to cure microbial infection in animals by mixing antibiotics with the feed or livestock and poultry. So animals like your the cattle which people grow, okay, in farms, and they also control some kind of plant diseases. So how it was found first time? So what happened? There was one scientist, Alexander Fleming. So he's Alexander Fleming. What happened during 1929, when he was just checking the things? He has grown some bacteria for seeing that what kind of bacteria, what kind of bacteria is causing infection. So he was seeing that. So during 1929, when he was doing this experiment, so he went for some vacation for some time, and he has kept some bacteria to grow in some media. As you can see here, this is petri dish. Okay, what is this? It is a petri dish. Okay, and in petri dish he was growing some of the microorganisms or bacteria. Now after coming back from the vacation, what he saw that there was some fungus was growing inside it. Okay, and some fungus, some kind of fungus was growing, and the place where this fungus was growing, the bacterial colony were, you can say, it was digested, or bacterial colony was vanished from that place. Okay, so there was no bacterial colony at the place where this fungus was growing. Okay, so he saw that, and he discovered this penicillin accidentally from this fungus. Then he identified the fungus, that what kind of fungus is this, and then he started uh, finding out that what kind of chemical is being released by this fungus, and if we can work on, the the production of this on industrial level. So it was these, like his discovery was used by the scientists which came later on during 1939, and they what they did, they find out this penicillium, and they find out the way how they could extract that chemical, and how they could produce it in large quantity, so that they can help the people who are having, bacterial infection. So if this penicillin could be used at that places, or if it could be eaten up by those people, so the bacterial infection could be stopped. So it was a, you can say that, miraculous invention that time, or discovery that time. So because of it, in during the Second World War, many soldiers were able to cure during that time, where when there was, most of the chances were of bacterial infection, and people or army, or you can say that all the soldiers were dying because of their wound having bacterial infection, and they could not be treated well for those bacterial infection, because of no cure was available during those days. So this penicillin at that time, it was a, it was like a great discovery for those people, and it could save the life of many soldiers during World War II. Okay, in comparison to the soldiers who died due to these infections during World War One. So now the scientists were able to prepare this industrially. Now you can see here, how did they make penicillin. So for many years, scientists were already knowing that some molds, molds means these fungus. Okay, these are having some kind of, properties to kill some bacteria, but they were not aware how these are having these properties. Now what happened, researchers, they keep on doing researches, and they find out, they understood how to harness this antibacterial microbe, okay, which is having the property to kill bacteria, because it is against bacteria, antibacterial. Okay, and they find out that how to manufacture it enough, so that they can use, or they can make useful medicine through this chemical. Okay, now what they did, they started growing it, penicillin, like you can see here. This is a microscopic view of this fungus. You can see the growth of fungus that is growing here, green colored fungus. Okay, now it was seen in microscopes. Under microscope you can see the structure of penicillium like this. Okay, now this penicillium mold, it was naturally producing antibiotic, which was named as penicillin. Clear? So now scientists find out that how to grow these penicillium mold in deep fermentation tank. Okay, by adding some kind of sugar in that process increase the, okay, because production of penicillin increased. Now after that, what they did, the scientists, they separated the penicillin product from the mold. So they have taken out the chemical penicillin, which was actually which was actually having this antibiotic property. Okay, and finally, this penicillin was purified for use as an antibiotic medicine. So it was now ready to be sold in market and ready to be used further. So this is the story of penicillin, how this antibiotic started for the first time and how it came first time in the market. Now, after that, we are going to see what kind of precautions we should follow while we are taking antibiotics. Okay, so you know that antibiotics actually these are killing the microbes. Like here you can see that these are antibiotics, or these are antibiotics, these are killing the microbes. But you know that these antibiotics, these are actually few points you should know about it, that these should be some precautions should be taken when we are eating any kind of antibodies, when we are taking any kind of antibodies. And why these precautions are necessary? These precautions are necessary because you know that if you are taking wrong dose of the antibiotic, so your body could become resistant to the drug. Okay, when it is becoming resistant, it means it will not be effective in the future. That means if you are taking antibiotic and you are not taking it properly for longer periods, so what will happen after some time? Your body will become resistant, and that antibiotic will not be effective in your body whenever you will have infection again. Okay, so that is why we should take proper prescription from doctor, and then only we should take antibiotics. Secondly, these antibiotics can also kill the beneficial bacteria in the body. So if we are having, without consultation, we are taking antibiotic. So it can also kill the beneficial or good bacteria which are present in our body. So that is why we should take some precautions while we are eating or while we are taking antibiotics. Now there is one important note. What is that important note? That antibiotics cannot cure cold and flu caused by viruses. So basically these antibiotics are not, you can say it will not work on viruses. Why? Because viruses are, these are having their own system. Okay, and they are not having any particular cellular mechanism. So because they are not having any particular cellular mechanism, so this antibiotic which is working on the cell of the bacteria, okay, cell wall or membrane of the bacteria, because virus is not having any membrane, so it cannot destroy it. Okay, that is why these antibiotics, they fail to affect they fail to stop these viruses. Okay, and antibiotics are majorly made from algae or from the fungi or from the bacteria. Okay, so we should remember these things. Now we are moving further. So next thing which we are going to study is antibodies. Now what are antibodies? Antibodies are basically whenever some pathogen is coming. Okay, pathogen. Now antibodies, see, antibiotic and antibodies, these are the two terms. Here also anti word is there. Anti means against. Okay, so whenever we are saying it is against the bodies. Okay, so because it is being produced inside your body. Okay, it is being produced inside your body, like you can see here, antibodies. This is antibody, this is antibody, these are antibodies. So these are being produced inside your bodies against any pathogen. So what is this pathogen? Pathogen is any disease microbes, we call them pathogen. So what happens when these antibodies are formed? These are the basically some substances which are formed in our body, and they try to fight the disease causing microbes. Okay, so how these are able to fight? You can imagine if you are having a lock. Okay, and this lock is having a particular key. Okay, so this key is having some kind of impression, you can say, on this key, and on the basis of those impression you will be able to open this particular lock. So in the same way, these antibodies also, they develop some kind of specific characteristics by which it can log those pathogens. Okay, so when it comes next time in the body, they are ready to fight with those pathogens. So these are the antibodies, and these are present inside your body only. Okay, so do not get confused between antibodies and antibiotics. Antibiotics are the medicines which we are taking from outside. Okay, and antibodies are the substance which are being produced inside your body. So these are basically being produced inside the body. Okay, while the antibiotics were we were taking from outside, we were taking it as a medicine. Okay, so we were taking it from outside as a medicine only. Okay, so this is the difference which you should learn, which you should understood between antibiotics and antibodies. Now after that, see here, if we are talking about vaccines, so what are the vaccines actually? See, so vaccines are, you can say vaccines are basically the weakened or dead organism, okay, dead disease causing microbes which are injected in our body. Now how these are injected? Now you must have seen that when children, or you must have taken some vaccinations when you were small or were small kid. Okay, so what are these vaccines? When we are creating, or when we are inserting some weakened means which are very weak, which cannot cause any disease. Okay, weakened or dead disease causing microbes that are injected in our body to trigger the production of antibodies. Okay, now these antibodies remain in the body for a long time to protect it against any attack of disease causing microbes. For example, if we will talk about the situation right now, like we are in lockdown spread of corona. So corona is actually the virus which is causing disease. So what researchers, or what scientists are trying to find out, they are trying to find out the vaccine which can work against corona. So how it would work, or how they will prepare, they will take, or they will extract this coronavirus, and then they will take this weakened or weak or dead disease causing this virus and inject in the body of a healthy person, so that they can trigger the production of antibodies in their body. Okay, to uh, fight with these virus only. So because of, when they are designing some vaccine, what happens, they have to, like, they should know how much of the amount they need to insert, so that it will not cause any harm to the body, and how much amount is like acceptable to the body, so it will not uh, fall sick. And they have to take care of so many variants, you can say, or so many factors they have to see, that it should not affect the human, and it should also create a large amount of antibodies in the body, so that whenever next time the this virus it comes, or live microorganism comes and infects the body, so at that time antibodies will be prepared in the body already. Clear? So these antibodies will be prepared by your body, and it will be able to protect you from those pathogens. Okay, so these are the vaccines. You can understand the important point here, that it is weakened or dead disease causing microbes. Okay, and which can injected into our body to trigger the production of antibodies. Okay, so triggering means starting, initiating. Okay, now coming to the vaccination. So you know that when we are talking about vaccine, so when we are applying vaccine, we will call it vaccination. So the process of protecting the body from pathogens with the help of vaccines is called vaccination. Clear? So it is just the process. For example, you went to the doctor, you took some vaccine for against any flu or against any disease, so it is called that you have taken vaccination, you have done vaccination. Understood? So it is simple, that it is just the process that you are getting the vaccine, okay, to protect your body from pathogens. Okay, so now we are moving forward, and now we will see that after antibodies we are going to study about vaccine. So now in vaccine, okay, so here in vaccine you can see here that there are some vaccines, or how it is started actually first time. You know that in earlier days there were people who were dying because of smallpox, chickenpox. So there was one scientist, Edward Jenner. Okay, what he did, he was testing on some kind of these pathogens only. So what he discovered that some kind of, if he prepared a dead or weakened, he has taken these microorganisms and he has taken a solution of dead or weakened pathogen, and then he inserted it in the body. As here you can see, in during initial days there was no injection. So what they used to do, they used to do like do a cut or mark in the body so that blood can come here, and then they will inject this. You can see the solution, so they will inject the solution on those blood marks. Now with the blood, those dead microorganism or dead pathogen will move inside the blood. Okay, so because they will move inside the blood, so what will happen, they will be mixed in the bloodstream, and then inside your body immunity will be developed, or those antibodies will be developed. So this was the older days, this was the way how they were used to do this vaccination. Okay, and so Edward Jenner was the one who find out the vaccination for smallpox for the first time. Now, if the question comes a popular vaccination program run by Indian government, you must be knowing what kind of popular vaccination program started by Indian government. So you know that pulse polio program, दो बूंद जिंदगी की, आपने भी पढ़ा होगा, and you must have seen, you must have taken it also, like for the children who are below 5 years of age, they were given oral polio drops, okay, under this program. So it was done by government of India to eradicate polio. Eradicate means to finish it from the roots. Okay, so now you know that we can say proudly that we are polio free country. Okay, so we are not having any case of polio nowadays. Okay, so now what is vaccination? We have already seen here. What is vaccination now? Here we are just going to repeat it or see it. So vaccine is a biological preparation that provides active acquired immunity to a disease. Okay, so here we are saying active because it is creating active antibodies, then acquired because we are acquiring it. Acquiring means when you are learning something, when you are taking it some from outside, so you are acquiring it. Okay, it is not natural, it is not natural immunity with a person, so he is acquiring after taking those dead or weakened pathogens in their bloodstream. So that is why they are taking it from outside. For example, you are acquiring knowledge, you are coming to school to get the knowledge, isn't it? So you are acquiring knowledge from the school. In the same way, these vaccines are providing active acquired immunity to a disease. Now vaccines are usually made for viral disease. So that is also important, that you know that antibiotics, we are having antibiotics for bacterial diseases or fungal diseases, but in case of viral diseases, these antibiotics were not helpful. So what they started using vaccines, because these viruses, these cannot be controlled by any other pathogen. So it was a better way to insert some dead virus in the body and then create some immunity inside the body itself. Okay, so it was done by vaccine. Now for example, Salk vaccine, okay, which was used for polio, then influenza vaccine, which was used for flu, and it is being used now also, like rabies vaccine for the dog bite, against the dog bite, or cholera, hepatitis, smallpox, tuberculosis. So all these are the some name of the vaccines which we are using, and which we are giving to a child since birth, which we some of the vaccines which we start to give a child. Okay, now what is the Salk vaccine? Just we are going a little bit information we are going to study here. Now vaccine which is against poliomyelitis, which is used against poliomyelitis. So short form is polio, and it was named after this Dr. Jonas Salk, who actually developed and introduced this in 1955. So it was the first type of polio vaccine which was available in market, and it was made by cultivating three strains of the virus separately in monkey tissues. Okay, and then it was being inserted in human body. So one can, you know that you can get proper vaccination from your hospitals, from nearby hospitals, or you can use it, like you can take it in case of any requirement. Okay, in case of dog bite or anything. So here is some list of the some vaccines which you can see here, like hepatitis B, rotavirus, diphtheria, tetanus, and acellular pertussis, DTP, which we call, then this influenza, okay, and then pneumococcal conjugate. So these are some list like influenza, measles, mumps, and rubella, MMR. So these are the lists which are given to the child, like from birth to 18 months. This Hep B can be given. 2 to 6 months, this RV should be given, rotavirus, and DPT is very important, which is given from 2 to 18 months, and then from 4 to 6 years also. So these are some of the vaccinations which are written here, which are very important to be given during the these particular ages. So in government hospitals or in private hospitals, if you will go there, as per your age, you can see what kind of vaccination is required for you. So you must take those vaccinations. Okay, you know, because it is creating immunity in your body. So beforehand, before you get infected by anything, by any of these pathogens, so you will be having the immunity in your body. Okay, now so next thing what we are going to study here is about pulse polio. So polio, you know that it is a viral disease and which is damaging the nervous system or nerves in spine. Okay, so what happens in case of this polio? The people who are suffering with this or who are get infected by this, they have very weak muscles. Okay, and they can have paralysis also sometimes in legs, and it is also called, because of that only we call it infantile paralysis. Infant is used for the child. Okay, for a small child. So if at infant age only you get these kind of paralysis. Okay, so this legs cannot move properly. So polio vaccine can prevent this disease, and pulse polio was a large scale program to eradicate it in India, and it was run by United Nations with India, and all children under 5 years of age were given polio drops. Okay, and now we know that it is eradicated successfully, and now we know that here we are not having any case of polio. Now we are moving to the next slide. So here we know that what are the benefits of these microorganisms. These are the last which we are going to study in this is cleaning of the environment. Okay, so these microorganisms, these are actually helping us in cleaning the environment. How? Because you know that microorganisms which are feeding on the dead organisms, okay, dead remains of any plant or animal. So what these are doing, these are eating them, and then these are breaking those complex molecules into simpler molecules, okay, which are nutrients, and then which get mixed in the soil. So these are working as decomposers. Okay, breaking down and decompose. So microbes helping the organic waste surroundings, like dead carcass from meat and fish shop, or waste from the vegetable market are because of microorganisms. And because you know that it is converting them into simpler substances, so we call this process biodegradation. Bio is for living thing because living thing are being degraded. It means from it is being degraded to the smaller substances. And that is why we are saying it is biodegradation. What we are saying? It is biodegradation. Okay. So it is very important term, biodegradation. And now increasing soil fertility. For that also, microorganisms are very helpful. For example, your blue green algae. Okay, so they fix atmospheric nitrogen, the nitrogen which is present in atmosphere, and they fix it in the soil. Now you will study about this nitrogen fixation in the next part. Okay. Now, rhizobium bacteria, which are living in root nodules of the leguminous plant, these bacteria actually helping the plant in nitrogen fixation inside the soil. So these microbes are also helping in improving soil fertility. So because of this nitrogen fixation, that nitrogen gets mixed in soil and plants are able to take it and to make the food, and then they can have protein, like mainly in the protein rich plant or the leguminous plant we can see that they fix nitrogen or they are having these rhizobium bacteria in their root nodules. Okay, so we are going to study it in the next video. Now that's it for the today for this video. So I hope you have understood all the parts which are explained here, and have a nice day, stay safe, stay at home. Thank you.